So every single time I've struggled to make money, it's almost always not a analytical reason, but it's a emotional reason. Not the logical reason, not the analytics, not the numbers. I continue to do that, but the emotional reason is what, pulls me forward. Because what I've learned is that you can push yourself. But if I'm constantly pushing myself to make money, pushing through the markets, pushing through the business, pushing through the content, it's not sustainable. And eventually it becomes too much. Every time I get overly focused on the finances, the analytics, the market, the data, I feel it because I feel this weight, I feel a pressure, I feel a burnout that creeps in. When this happens, I always go back to the reason why I started. I think back to a moment that changed basically my entire mindset and everything for me. I was walking down the street in Miami. We just take multiple flights from different places. I was doing okay on money, but I still had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And I knew I wanted something in the finance world because that's what I've always loved. I love finance, investing, markets. That's kind of what does it for me, right? But I didn't yet have the why fully clear. And I was walking down the street and I started to notice these people around me, people who were no different than me walking down the street. And I could tell though that they were struggling either financially, they're struggling with life, struggling with everything that life was throwing at them. Something just felt, you see someone on the street, you're like, seems like they're struggling a little bit. And I remember thinking to myself, that person would be better off if they understood compound interest, if they understood how to identify valuable companies, if they understood how investments actually work, if they just had some financial clarity, then that would be better for them. And that's when everything clicked for me because I realized that the best thing that I could do wasn't to focus on making more money. That's what actually was burning me out. It was to focus on serving these people, serving the people walking down that same street. So funny enough, I did something that surprised even me in that moment. I had a lot of emotion around it and I started approaching people. And I would walk up to a person on the street and I'd say, I would, like right there in the moment, I'd say, "Hey, do you have your finances figured out? Or do you invest at all? Or do you feel confident about money?" Things like that, right? If I ask somebody, like imagine you say something, "Hey man, how the financials going?" Like, what would you think would happen, right? A guy approaches you. No, they were super open and they weren't freaked out and they weren't defensive because it was actually a problem that they were already trying to solve. They were probably thinking about it right when I approached them on the street. So person after person told me the same thing. And they'd say, "I don't really know how to invest. I don't really understand money. I'm living paycheck to paycheck." Um, and that's when it became super clear to me. This is the problem. You see, this is the thing that I learned that I needed to focus on. And so, just like a dentist opens up a practice because people have problems with their teeth, there are millions of people with problems around money. And so that's when I knew that there will always be people to serve. And I just opened up. I started the YouTube channel when I started focusing on some of the content, how it can flow, how it can help people. That's when the money flowed. So when you focus on the service, when you focus on what pulls you and the why for why you're investing, is it because of the family goals? Is it the aspirations? Is it the freedom? What is the reason why you're doing it? That service level mindset will help you to be able to be pulled in the right direction rather than feeling like you're always pushing and grinding. And funny enough, when you don't focus on the money, you focus on the service, focus on the reasoning why you're doing it, then the money flows. That's how it works.